Good evening. Welcome to the Lakeland Community College Alumni Hall of Fame Class of 2018 induction ceremony. My name is Kapi Ho, and it's my honor to serve as the chair for the Lakeland Foundation Board of Directors. Thank you for being here tonight, and congratulations to this year's inductees: Louise Sullivan, Christine Weber-Bresky, Melissa Amsbach, Mary Wynn Piespinen, Linda Erdy, Linda Capelli O'Brien, and John Paganini. To start our ceremony, I'd like to call on Morris Beveridge Jr., President of Lakeland Community College.
Thanks, Kapi. Got to put the cheaters on. First of all, congratulations, class of 2018. Who knew? All right. Yeah, who saw this coming? Also, thanks to all of you for being here this evening. So it's my job to advise you as to why we started the Alumni Hall of Fame. First, we wanted to honor Lakeland graduates who have made a difference through their careers in the community and the college. Second, we wanted the community at large to know about the remarkable people who come through Lakeland and who move on to achieve amazing things. But third, possibly most important, we want our current students to see that they too can achieve, they can excel in their careers, in enhancing the quality of life in their communities and in giving back to the college in the process. Prior to our gathering here in the Wayne Rotahorse Performing Arts Center, the current members of the Hall of Fame and the 2018 inductees met. One of the topics discussed was the Alumni Hall of Fame Scholarship, which was initiated by our Hall of Fame members. Since its inception, we have raised about $15,000 for scholarships given to deserving Lakeland students. We, of course, welcome your donations so we can continue to make a difference in these student lives. I'd be glad to walk the aisles and pass if need be, but otherwise just see me afterwards or anyone else from the foundation. Rochelle Tidwell was awarded the Alumni Hall of Fame Scholarship this year. She is from Chesterland, and she is an active volunteer at St. Mark's Lutheran Church. She participated in 4-H leadership programs and has been a camp counselor. She is on track to pursue her dream job, that being a dental hygienist. She was supposed to have been here this evening, but unfortunately she had to go to work. So if you get the munchies later, she's working at the Pizza Hut in Chesterland. Just go in and ask for Rachel. Finally, before we get into why we're really here this evening, I want to share with you what the criteria is for selection of the Hall of Fame inductees. First of all, nominees must be graduates of Lakeland Community College. It's a minor point, don't you think? Nominees must have graduated at least 10 years prior to the year in which they are nominated. Nominees must have a strong record of career success. And nominees must demonstrate a strong record of community involvement and leadership in community programs and/or significant interest in and contribution to Lakeland and its programs and students. You'll notice in our program booklet that we've inducted 60 people to date, and we'll be adding 7 more this evening. Each inductee will be introduced by a current Hall of Fame member. So let's get started.
Good evening. I'm Paul Hack. I'm probably one of the biggest cheerleaders in Painesville City, and I have the pleasure of cheerleading Louis Sullivan into the Lakeland Hall of Fame. Louis is a Pittsburgh native who fortunately after graduation from high school moved to Northeast Ohio to search for opportunity and search which ultimately led her to Lake County's Lakeland Community College. She graduated from Lakeland in 1990 with an associate's in marketing and then went to earn a bachelor's of science in business administration and marketing from Lake Erie College in 1995, all while raising a family in Painesville and working full-time. 20 years later, she returned to Lakeland and earned her MBA through the Lake Erie College Parker MBA program. for which she took classes right across the street from Lakeland Holden University Center. And most recently, educational experience has come full circle as she now teaches at an adjunct instructor for Lake Erie College Parker MBA program. Louise has worked at Avery Dennison since 1999 and is currently the Director of Change Management on their ERP project. In 2003, she received the Leadership Award for Graphic Business and has held numerous leadership positions since, including involvement of the company's United Way efforts. In her spare time, Louise is a member of the Lakeland Foundation Board of Director, serves on the Women's Leadership County of United Way, and is a mentor and coach of Harvey High School Future Business Leaders of America. She's also a 2008 graduate of Leadership Lake County. On the weekends, you can find Louise out and about in Paynesville area with her husband, Stud Muffin Ken, or with her kids, Kathleen and Patrick. But more than likely, you'll see Louise out with her dog, Buddy. Louise, thank you for your involvement in the Lake County. Congratulations on your induction into the Lakeland Community College Alumni Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Paul, for your kind introduction, and congratulations to my fellow recipients. As I was reflecting on what this award means to me, several thoughts came to mind. This award is a symbol of all the hard work and sacrifice it took to get here, which makes me very proud. Like many others, I did not choose an easy path. I went to a very small high school in a steel mill, depressed, blue-collar town where the guidance counselor didn't guide to higher education. College wasn't talked about much and wasn't an option for most. Leaving home 6 months after high school and after a few years of minimum wage jobs, I realized that an education was truly the way to a better way of life. I realized that I could sit back, blame others, and wait for good luck to just appear, or I could take charge and make my own opportunities happen. But how could I afford it when I had to eat cereal for every meal? When I had to work full time? How could I do that? Well, enter Lakeland Community College. The fact that I could take classes at night, I didn't have to take out student loans, the convenience of the location, the beautiful facility, and the 2+2 program illuminated a hard but achievable path. Going to night school is a totally different experience that I think could truly deserve its own sitcom. Some days I regret that I didn't have the quote-unquote traditional college experience, but I got to live that vicariously through my children, Kathleen and Patrick. But then I stopped myself and realized that I have something truly unique and special. It's the fact that I put myself through school the hard way. The other cool thing about night school is that you get to meet a plethora of unique and interesting characters. They're on different timelines, different goals, different schedules. At night school, there really aren't any cohorts or really any sororities, that type of thing, because again, it's night school. But what there is plenty of fatigue and plenty of grumbellies. It's a good thing there's a lot of vending machines around. And even at night school, without the traditional college experience, you can make lasting friendships. I'm also very proud that I have a great friend here today who I met at a campus bookstore while cracking each other up looking for the funniest card we could get for our then boyfriends over 30 years ago. Thank you, Sue, for sticking with me all these years and being here tonight. Who knew that these funny guys would actually become our husbands? Which brings me to the next point. Isn't it funny that Lakeland alums seem to attract each other? My husband, Ken, who's also here tonight, took the same path through night school and the 2+2 program. He got done a lot faster than me. It's not because he was smarter. He started earlier. So we never had classes together. Thank goodness, because I would pity the instructor that would have us both at the same time. It took me 9 years to get my undergrad from Lake Erie College. Our kids were 4 and 2 when I graduated. We celebrated by going to Disney, which proved that an education does lead to a magical life. Well, life goes on, and suddenly you look up and you realize that your kids are grown and they've graduated from college as well. What to do? Well, besides discovering the wineries on Sunday afternoons, I went back and got my MBA at Lake Erie College, walking that graduation exactly 20 years from my undergrad, so that was pretty cool. And guess what? We celebrated that graduation with a trip to Hawaii. Do you catch a theme here? Bigger and more exciting vacations with each degree? Wonder where we would go if I got my doctorate. Just kidding. In summary, I got my start at Lakeland Community College, and I'm very proud to be an alum and to be an ambassador and a role model for anyone that wants to take the time to stop, look, and listen. Anything is achievable if you have perseverance, resilience, and drive. Surround yourself with great people, as I have, who will give you energy, make you laugh, and celebrate life together through the good and the bad. And remember, you take you wherever you go, so be true to yourself, learn to love yourself, which could be a lifelong journey, and learn to laugh at yourself. As far as I know, we only get one shot at this thing called life, but we have many shots at making it the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise, for that inspiring reflection. I'm Jessie Baginski. I'm the president and CEO of Leadership Lake County, and I'm very pleased today to be here to induct Christine Webster Bresky into the Lakeland Alumni Hall of Fame. Chris graduated from Lakeland in 1987 with an Associate of Applied Business Management, and she's a proud graduate of Mentor High School. She has been with the Chamber of Commerce and Mentor for more than 20 years, and that's actually how we first met each other. And in 2017, she was appointed to the president and CEO position of that chamber. Under her leadership, the chamber has more than 600 members, ranging from the very large community organizations such as Steris and Lincoln Electric to the many, many small businesses that are the heart of Lake County. In addition to her work with the chamber, she manages the finances for the Lake County Safety Council and the Mentor Area of Chamber Commerce Foundation. She's been a member of the Chamber of Commerce Executives in Ohio since 1995 and is a proud alumni of the Leadership Lake County Class of 2000. Woohoo! Chris's community involvement involves volunteering and committee work on various things. She's been a past president of Mentor PTA and the Mentor High School Alumni Group. She serves on the High School Business Advisory Council and Mentor Schools Foundation. And she's been a long-standing champion for United Way, serving as a celebrity server and on the Evaluation and Investments Committee, and a participant in the Day of Caring. And very special for here at Lake Trans, she's also participated in the RoboBots competition, which is phenomenal for getting our students really engaged in business, science, math, and engineering. So really, Chris is all about making Mentor a great place to live, work, and play. And I'm really proud to call her my friend, and so glad we were able to raise our kids together, all through being chamber members and connected through the chamber. Thanks.
Okay, I'll take the joke first that you can't see me over the lectern, because that's usually every time I speak, that's what we get. First, I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees. I'm honored to be among all of these distinguished individuals. It's such an honor. Growing up, my brother and I were taught to spend our money wisely, make the most of your time, use resources in front of you, and set goals for yourself. With taking all of that into account, plus hearing from others, companies were placing high importance not only on education, but experience as well. I needed to decide how to make the most of furthering my education beyond my beloved Mentor High School. Go Cardinals. After doing research, I figured out quickly attending Lakeland Community College would allow me to go to college part-time, work full-time, graduate debt-free, and obtain a degree in business, and with any luck, find a job in my field of study upon graduation. I started Lakeland right after high school graduation in the summer of '83. I secured a full-time job in the fall at a retail establishment, and since I was already enrolled in the business program at Lakeland, I tested into the company's management program, which immediately propelled me into an assistant manager's role without ever touching the sales floor. So my choice of attending Lakeland was already working for me. I worked and went to school part-time as I planned. In the summer of '85, I got married. Needless to say, my parents were a little concerned I would not finish, but I continued on with my plan, which now included the responsibility of taking care of a house and a husband. Retail hours were not my favorite, though they worked very well with going to Lakeland because I could come during the day and at night as well as needed. But I decided that I would apply for another position. It was an accounting management job, which I received, and I was able to use all the accounting and business skills that I was currently learning at Lakeland. Remember, the goal was to obtain experience as well as my degree. 8 months away from completing my degree, I announced I was pregnant with my son. So you can imagine, now my parents were really concerned, as was one of my teachers who thought that I might have the baby right in the class. 4'11", 9-pound baby. So you can get the picture there. The summer of '87 was very hot, right, Jesse?
Yes, it was.
And with 3 weeks away from delivering, I wasn't excited about attending a graduation that was outdoors. My parents were disappointed. So Mom and Dad, I hope you're so happy that you're getting to witness this great honor of my induction to the Lakeland Hall of Fame. And I hope it makes up for me missing that day. I know my story may not be unique, and while I may not be the most decorated person academically to be in the Alumni Hall of Fame, I believe that I'm a very hardworking, well-rounded individual, dedicated professionally and personally to my job, my community, and my family. I want to thank Kevin Malachek for recognizing those qualities enough to nominate me for this award. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, Jesse, for my introduction, being my friend, and being my go-to whenever I need advice. We've been together a really long time. Thank you to my family and friends for being here tonight and all your love and support in everything I do. I thank Lakeland Community College for the excellent education I received in my own community, which advanced me both professionally and personally. Every day, I use the skills I was taught here at Lakeland, from management, accounting, marketing, public speaking, and more. Lakeland helped me reach my goals at a school which fit my lifestyle and was affordable cost to me and my family without sacrificing quality. It is a privilege for me to be standing here in front of all of you today and now to be a member of the Lakeland College Alumni Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Oops. You guys didn't turn the pages. Hi there. I am Alice Demeter, and I have truly the pleasure and the honor of introducing and inducting Melissa Amspaugh into the Lakeland Alumni Hall of Fame. Melissa attended Pymatuming Valley High School and is a 1989 graduate of Lakeland with an Associates of Arts. She earned her Bachelor of Arts from Capital University. Melissa began her employment with Lakeland in 1987 as a student worker. In January of her freshman year, she started working in the Office of Financial Aid. Since that time, she has held every part-time and full-time position in the Office of Financial Aid. Melissa credits the support of Lakeland's former Director for Financial Aid, Claudette Whitner, for giving her the motivation to go back to school for her bachelor's degree, which she earned in criminal justice in 1997. She quotes Claudette as saying that Melissa was going to need a bachelor's degree if she ever wanted to become a director, and indeed she did. Melissa's Lakeland's Director for Financial Aid and Student Enrollment. She is passionate about helping Lakeland students. She brings a lot of compassion and an innovative spirit to her job. She was recognized in 1989 by the Ohio House of Representatives for dedicated service to Lakeland Community College. She was awarded the Outstanding Support Staff Award by the Ohio Association of Student Financial Aid at the administration in 1994, and the Chairperson's Award for Outstanding Service from the Lakeland Student Government in 1998. She is also a proud graduate of Leadership Lake County's class of 2012. As an employee of Lakeland, she has been influential in numerous initiatives focused on student need. She was instrumental in the creation of the Food Insecurities Task Force, which was formed in 2017 to address student hunger issues, and through which the Lakeland Cares Cupboard was recently established. The cupboard makes food and personal hygiene items available at absolutely no cost and with no questions asked for Lakeland students in need. Melissa's generosity isn't limited to her Lakeland family. Her extensive list of community involvement over the years includes End 68 Hours of Hunger, Dare to Care, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Lake County Back to School Bash, Menor Girls Softball and Basketball, Menor City and Schools football teams, and Citizens for Lakeland. Melissa makes Lakeland and Lake County a better place to live and to learn. She resides in Mentor with her husband Jim, their daughter Jessica, and their son Joshua, all of whom either have been or are students of Lakeland programs. So it truly is my pleasure to induct Melissa Emspel into the Lakeland Alumni Hall of Fame.
Well, when Lori Principe came to my office to tell me the good news that I was being inducted, my very first question to her was, do I have to talk in front of people? So luckily for you guys, my speech is short. Like Alice said, I graduated from Pymatuning Valley in 1987, began Lakeland in the fall. I didn't want to go to college, but my mom insisted, so thank you, Mom. She's the one crying in the back in case you can't hear her. I told her to go to Lakeland because that was the only two-year college that I really knew existed. Little did I know that I would still be here 31 years later. It didn't take me that long to get my degree, just so you know. Just took me the 2. Throughout this whole process, we get asked a lot of questions. So one of them was to name a fond memory or moment that we've had at Lakeland. And I thought, well, after 31 years, that's a lot of memories, so I couldn't really pin it down to one. And then I was asked, what does Lakeland mean to me? So again, I thought about that, and I realized I can't answer that question either. There are no words that can truly describe what Lakeland means. Sure, I could use gratitude, thankfulness, appreciation, but those are just words. So instead, stealing from David Letterman, I'd like to give my top 10 list. So here are my top 10 if it weren't for Lakeland. Number 10, if it weren't for Lakeland, I wouldn't have my associate's degree. Number 9, I wouldn't have my bachelor's degree. Number 8, I wouldn't have a job that I love. Number 7, I wouldn't have the confidence to be up here standing and talking right now. Number 6, I wouldn't have the courage to stand up for myself and others. Number 5, I wouldn't be able to help students in crisis and be empathetic towards them. Number 4, I wouldn't fully understand what community and community service means. Number 3, I wouldn't have the lifelong friends that I get to work with every day. Number 2, I wouldn't have met my husband, Jim. He is also alumni. He was a student worker here at Lakeland when we met, and on Sunday, we'll be celebrating our 23rd year anniversary. And the number one reason is my two children, Jessica and Joshua. Jessica graduated from Lakeland before she graduated from Mentor High School, thanks to the College Credit Plus program. Because of the program, after just 3 years at Bowling Green, she'll be graduating in May with her bachelor's degree in psychology. I see $17,000 saved, so thanks. Joshua is a mentor at junior high school, and he's currently enrolled in the construction management program through the partnership that Lakeland has with Mentor High School. So quite frankly, I don't know where I would be or where my family would be without Lakeland providing so many opportunities that they do for the community. In closing, I'd like to thank the Lakeland Foundation for honoring me with this award, and a special thank you to the Lakeland Foundation staff. They make my job a lot easier. They do an outstanding job raising funds for student scholarships and for students in crisis, and it's a real pleasure being able to work with them. For Bev Dahlheim for nominating me for this award. For Karen Kopp, she was the original director when I came here. She hired me 31 years ago. For Claudette Whitner, for her continuous encouragement in pursuing my bachelor's degree. To the Financial Aid and Student Service Center staff, I'm very fortunate to work with such an incredible group of caring people. For my mom, for all her years of struggling and sacrifice to make sure I received a college education. And lastly, to Jim, Jessica, and Joshua, for your patience, understanding, and love. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jane Steger, and I am very pleased to be given the honor to induct Mary Wynn Piespanen into the Lakeland Alumni Hall of Fame. Mary, yet another graduate from Mentor High School, is a 1978 graduate of Lakeland with an Associate of Arts in Business. She earned a Bachelor of Science in Individual and Family Studies and a Master's in Community Health Education from Kent State University. When Mary started at Lakeland, she wanted to get the most out of her Lakeland experience. And even though she had never been on a sailboat, Mary joined the sailing club at the invitation of my sister-in-law, Laura, who, according to Laura's brother, David, wasn't much into sailing herself until she realized that a lot of good-looking guys were in the sailing club, and there was always plenty of beer. And I'm betting those might have been two of the selling points that Laura used on Mary. Mary and Laura actually met in the admissions office when they were working, and they were in charge of filing. Remember when filing was so important? Laura told me that she and Mary kept a list of strange students' names as kind of on the side. And one of Laura's favorites, she's not claiming it was Mary's, but one of Laura's favorites was George Case Beer. Now, I would like someone to really see if there's a student here by the name of George Case Beer. In Mary's second year at Lakeland, she became the Commodore of the Sailing Club. And I should let you know that she is the second Commodore of the Sailing Club that has been inducted into the Lakeland Hall of Fame. Who knew? She learned a lot from this first leadership experience. After all these years, Mary is still seeking to get the most out of life, to be adventurous, and to be brave. And of course, she still loves Lakeland. Mary has been with the Family Planning Association of Northeast Ohio for 32 years and served as the executive director from 2003 through 2017. She facilitated a connection and ultimately the merger with Signature Health, Inc. when family planning faced a reduction in funding from the Ohio Department of Health in 2015. The Family Planning Association is now a division of Signature Health, which has allowed for potential expansion and greater accessibility of services for current and future clients in Lake County. And Mary is now the Director of Reproductive Health Operations for Signature Health. Mary is currently the fundraising chair for the Friends of Lake Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services, better known as the Adams Board. She received the Women of Achievement Award from the Women's Center at Lakeland in 1996. And the Women Making a Difference Award from the Ohio Department of Health in 2001. Mary is the past chair of the Lake County Family and Children's First Council and the Lake County AIDS Advisory Board. Mary is a graduate of Leadership Lake County and is an active alumni member. She's a member of the Painesville Kiwanis Club Painesville Area Social Society, volunteers with Lake County Back to School Bash, and sings with the Lakeland Civic Chorus. Mary, I am truly delighted to induct you into the Lakeland Alumni Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you so much for this honor. And first, I'd like to congratulate the rest of this year's inductees. I'm humbled to be among you. My thanks to Jane Steger for the introduction and also for nominating me, and to all involved in planning tonight's event. I also want to thank my family for being here tonight and for their encouragement over the years. And I especially want to thank my husband, David. Sorry. For always being my biggest support and cheerleader, regardless of the circumstances. Since being notified of my nomination, I've been doing a lot of reflecting about my time at Lakeland 40 years ago. And let me say that it's shocking and disturbing to realize that it's been 40 years since I graduated. For an introvert by nature whose family moved to Mentor from Queens, New York at the beginning of what proved to be a lonely senior year of high school, Lakeland offered a fresh start, where many of us were new students and were open to new friendships. Lakeland provided opportunities for socializing, some of which you've heard about already, most notably with the Lakeland Sailing Club, which I didn't join, as you heard, because of any great interest in sailing, but because I worked in admissions and Jane's sister-in-law, Laura, invited me to join, encouraged me to join. We competed in regattas and a few drinking games on many college campuses around Ohio. And in my second year at Lakeland, I was elected Commodore of the club. One of my cherished possessions from those days was the USS Winnie toilet seat given to me by the members. While I enjoyed the sailing, it wasn't a hobby I continued after graduation, but I am still in touch with many of the people I met as a result. And annually, those of us who are available get together for dinner, and this year's is next week. Lakeland helped me to build a great foundation for future learning and employment. I encountered instructors with a passion for the subject matter, and that passion was inspiring. Colleen Marshall nurtured my writing and editing skills, which have come in handy on countless grant applications and reports over the years. And John Platts, former Lake County Commissioner, who was my government instructor, inspired participation in the political process, which for me involves working for the Geauga County Board of Elections on primary and election days as my schedule permits since 2008. I worked full-time for 2 years after my graduation from Lakeland. When I began to work on my bachelor's degree at Kent State, all my credits from Lakeland transferred, and I was able to focus on the courses in my major. I also earned, as you heard, my master's degree at Kent State. After working for almost 2 years in Ashtabula County, my career brought me back to Lake County as an education specialist for the Family Planning Association, and that role reconnected me with Lakeland. My tenure at Family Planning has spanned almost 33 years and several different positions, and as I've been reflecting on Lakeland's impact, I've realized just how much Lakeland has been a part of my life and my career for the 40 years since I graduated. And I like to think that the benefits of that impact have been reciprocal, although I think I've gotten more than I've given. As Family Planning Association's education specialist, I was a guest educator in Sally Carr's human sexuality, psychology classes, and while I'm no longer in that role, our organization's education staff continue presenting and in classes and participating in on-campus activities, as well as in poverty simulations in the community, coordinated by Dion Dimitro, who works here at the Nonprofit Center. Sally Carr also served on the Board of Family Planning for 2 separate 8-year stints, ultimately serving as chair at the time I was named executive director. And other Lakeland faculty and staff have also served on the board of the Family Planning Association, including current sociology professor Dr. Michelle Smith. Sally Carr and Mary Ring from the Women's Center participated with Family Planning, Lake Health, and the Lake County General Health District for several years, planning annual Women's Health Month programs for the community. Dr. Beveridge and other staff were an integral part of my Leadership Lake County year, facilitating our opening and mid-year retreats. In 2009, when Family Planning and Lifeline were planning our inaugural Dancing Under the Stars event, Dr. Morris Beveridge not only hosted the event for us at Breakers, but he and his lovely wife Connie, one of my Leadership Lake County classmates, were celebrity dancers. That was a sight to see. A good one, but it was. Other Lakeland initiatives have been, Other Lakeland initiatives have been instrumental in my leadership at Family Planning. The nonprofit and public service sector center facilitated our strategic plan in 2010 and has also sponsored workshops attended by both board and staff leadership over the years. When we were contemplating strategies for organizational survival after a devastating reduction in funding, Dr. Carol Willen, who was then the nonprofit center director, provided a much-needed objective sounding board for me. And we're now participants in the Lake Geauga Anchor Institution Collaborative, which is offering continuing education nonprofits, summits for nonprofits, in addition to exploring ways to collect, warehouse, and share data among organizations in Lake and Geauga counties. And as you heard, on a personal note, I now sing in the Lakeland Civic Chorus, and which might be seen by some as a way of giving back, but I get so much more from the experience than I give. I'm at Lakeland frequently for nonprofit center programs, meetings, and for civic chorus rehearsal. Being a graduate in the early years of the college when there were only 4 buildings on campus, I'm so impressed with the growth that's taken place and how the college has adapted to meet the needs not only of students but the community as a whole. From the women's and men's centers and the nonprofit center to the PSEO, college credit programs for high school students, to the Anchor Institution Collaborative, and most recently, the Hive. Among others I'm sure I'm not aware of, Lakeland has enriched the region in so many ways, and I know there's more to come. I'm so grateful to be formally recognized as part of Lakeland's history through my induction into the Alumni Hall of Fame. Thank you again for this honor.
Hi there, I'm Alice Demeter again, and I'm so happy and very honored to have been asked to induct Linda Erdy into the Lakeland Alumni Hall of Fame. I have been privileged to know Linda since 2005, as she and I have been involved in numerous community service endeavors in the Western Reserve Junior Service League. I know Linda to have the utmost level of integrity and incredible leadership capabilities. She is so deserving of this recognition. Linda earned her Associate of Applied Science from Lakeland in Medical Lab Technology in 1977. She is a graduate of Eastlake North High School, has her Bachelor of Science in Biology from Lake Erie College, and graduated cum laude with a Master of Science in Forensic Science from Florida International University in 2002. Linda retired in August of this year from the Lake County Crime Laboratory. She began working at the Crime Lab in 1992 and eventually became its director, a position that she held for the past 18 years. Under her leadership, the Forensic Laboratory obtained national accreditation for the first time in 2000 and international accreditation for the first time in 2009. Linda notes, "I would never have had the career that I did if not for Lakeland Community College." Linda holds professional certifications from a number of organizations in her field, including the International Association for Identification, the American Board of Criminalistics, the American Society of Crime Laboratory Directors, and the American Society for Clinical Pathology. She has been an FBI certified forensic DNA auditor since 2003. Linda has been involved with the Western Reserve Junior Service League and Birthright of Lake County. She lives in Mentor and is an ongoing student at Lakeland, taking classes in jewelry and metals. Her work has been exhibited here in the gallery at Lakeland, and in 2015, she was awarded for her body of work in jewelry. It is truly, truly my pleasure to induct Linda into Lakeland's Alumni Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Alice. Wow, I'm tired just listening to all the things I've done. In 1975, when I started at Lakeland, I was working in retail at the local Great Lakes Mall, making $1.60 an hour. I saw Lakeland's MLT brochure, and I knew I wanted a job in the hospital, taking people's blood and doing analyses in the lab. Most people thought that was gross. When I graduated, I had 3 job offers making $5 an hour, about 3 times the minimum wage. For many years, I worked in the clinical lab and then finally found my way to the Lake County Crime Lab in 1992. I was there for 26 years, on call 24 hours a day. I went to crime scenes and I saw the worst of our society. I also worked in the lab doing DNA, and then eventually was the crime lab director. It was an exciting and satisfying career. It wasn't like you see on TV. It wasn't pretty like that. We didn't wear the clothes to the crime scenes like you see on CSI and those types of shows. It's a little different. Lakeland was my stepping stone because without my associate's degree, I wouldn't have been able to continue my education. Lakeland Community College had something great to offer me back in 1975. It was affordable and right around the corner. Lakeland still offers me something today as I now take jewelry course. I have to confess, I've taken the course many times. And the professor, Jane Weimer, somewhere in here? Where are you? Okay, I can't see you, you're in the dark. She calls us the repeat offenders. So I want to say thank you to Lakeland Foundation for this acknowledgement, and it is truly an honor to be recognized. And also congratulations to all the other inductees. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, great evening, everyone. So before I begin, my name is Greg Sanders. Can I have Linda Capelli O'Brien's grandkids stand up for a second? All right. So I have had a bird's eye view of all of them for the last 50 minutes, and they have been the best behaved grandkids I have ever seen in my entire life. If there was a hall of fame for best behaved grandkids at a Lakeland induction ceremony, you guys would be in. Good job. Speaking of grandkids, by a show of hands, who here has ever attended a pool party at Linda Capelli's house? Can you please raise your hand? Okay. I was kind of expecting a couple of gentlemen over here to have both hands and both legs in the air right now. There we go. There's no pool party like a Capelli pool party. Let me just tell you that right now. If you're ever invited, please go. What was that? Oh, at 91-6, you make it right. But I'll get back to the script. My name is Greg Sanders, and I'm pleased to be here today to induct Linda Capelli O'Brien into the Lakeland Hall of Fame. Linda is a 1969 graduate of Lakeland Community College with an Associate of Arts in Communications. When she was a high school freshman, she was excited to be part of the very first class at Notre Dame Academy, the year it opened in Chardon in 1963. Prior to this, she was also in the first charter classes at Our Lady of Mount Carmel. After a brief time at Kent State, Linda enrolled at the newly established Lakeland Community College in 1968 and attended classes when they were held in the old Cleveland Trust building in Painesville. After graduating from Lakeland, Linda went on to John Carroll University and received a bachelor's degree in radio and TV communications in 1972. And then she continued her studies at John Carroll to earn a master's degree in education and learning disabilities in 1974. She was one of the first female graduates of John Carroll, and Linda has said that she feels like a bit of a pioneer for being part of all these educational firsts. Throughout the years, Linda remained deeply involved with Notre Dame Academy. She was part of a small group that shaped the future of the school when they merged with Cathedral Latin to create Notre Dame Cathedral Latin. She has been recognized by the Rotary, serves on the board of the Andy Nowacki Foundation, and is widely recognized for her generous support of local nonprofits. The same pioneering spirit, dedication, and focus that Linda brought to her educational endeavors served her well as she and her husband, Billy, built an entrepreneurial life together. Did they ever? They have been co-owners of American Fire and Sprinklers, a family business, for 30 years. They're also owners of L&B Properties, Billy's, a Capelli Martini Bar, and Capelli's Platinum Affairs. On a personal note, that's a lot of success. And the Capelli name's a prominent name in this community. But what she's done when it comes to generosity and giving back to the community is just as, if not more, as impressive. So Linda, I am extremely proud and truly honored to induct you into the Alumni Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Greg. I will try to live up to all of your accolades. I am humbled, proud. Oh, and Mia, hang in a few more minutes, baby. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at her. 9 months today. And her brother's due in 3 months, so yeah. I'm humbled, proud, and thankful for this honor. I want to thank Rich Harmon and Kevin Free. Somehow I think they had some intervention that brought this about. Who knew 50 years ago, walking through the halls of the Cleveland Trust building, standing in this building now, that I would be standing in front of you today? Especially with my greatest achievements present, my husband, my rock, the man who makes everything possible, Billy O'Brien, is here with my 3 magnificent daughters, Dawn, Nicole, and Kelsey. I can't say enough about them. They are perfect and gifted, you know, from when they were little. Oh, dear. And they've given me these beautiful grandchildren, Skylar, Tristan, Callista, Brody, Chloe, Cage, and Kenzie, the last baby until our baby Mia. Baby Duke will be born in a few months thanks to my fabulous son-in-law, Tata Cervinskis, who's really been a rock with us. And thank you for the Cervinskis family for coming here today. You all know how important you are to me. How I got here, I was born under a star, and some of this Greg referred back to. When I was 6 years old in 1955, I went to Our Lady of Mount Carmel in first grade. They had just built Our Lady of Mount Carmel for me. I went there for 8 years, and I was the first charter class in 1963 to graduate from 8th grade. I left there, and I went to Notre Dame Academy. And as I said, that was the year that the Notre Dame nuns decided to move from Ansel Road in Cleveland to Chardon, Ohio. And their first bus ride was like, where are we going? And in 1967, after being the president of my class there for 2 years and very involved, I became the first charter class to graduate from the new Notre Dame Academy. I did start my freshman year at Kent State University, and the second quarter got severely ill and had to come home for surgery. Some of my friends had registered at this new Lakeland College. I had never heard of it. It really didn't have a school, but there were a lot of buildings offering space in the Painesville area. I registered for classes because I was able to go through rehab through the winter and spring quarter. And subsequently, I was so impressed with what I saw. I had been one of 300 to 800 students in classes at Kent State. Being that I sat in the top row of the balcony of one of my classes, I wouldn't have recognized my professor if she crossed me in the hall. I come to Lakeland, there's 20 to 30 people in a classroom. The professors cared about all of us. They cared about us learning. They were giving us a base for what we were about to learn next. I didn't realize it, but after going both summer sessions of 1968, fall, winter, and spring sessions of 1969, I was able to graduate from Lakeland College with an associate's degree in arts and communication. Here was a groundwork for what I needed for my future. John Platt, somebody mentioned, was also one of the very impressive teachers for me. John taught the political science and the histories at Lakeland College, and he really sparked my interest in community and politics. There was also a Mr. Paul Ganem at that time. He influenced me in public speaking. He developed in me a method to present myself and any of us in something that I believe helps you through all your phases in life. Here my future was built from this personal and capable institution of Lakeland Community College. It influenced my radio and television degree that I was going to get at John Carroll University, and it actually helped my involvement in community, charities, and business. During this time at Lakeland College, Chris Artali has to be mentioned. He was a dean of students, and nobody here ever heard of him, but he was wonderful, and he kind of kept us going. He was enthusiastic, and he kept us in all that was happening around us because things were changing on a daily and weekly basis as we were going to classes. He established in us an exposure to all of Painesville, and surely the community, we got their attention. We were all over the place, going from building to different classes. There were around, I think, 1,000 of us back then. He helped us write the bylaws for the Lakeland Community College Student Union, and there were some people in the meeting beforehand that are still members of that student union. I happened to be voted vice president of the first student union, and at our induction was at Quail Hollow. They had a beautiful dinner for us, and there they announced the purchase of the property here on 306, and they actually showed us the plans for the first phase of the building that we're in right now. It was a very exciting time and very exciting to be part of it. That small group of students who began and laid the groundwork for future programs of the most wonderful resource that a community can have. We had even gotten charters from both a national sorority and a fraternity, and I just want to mention Gartman's Bakery in Painesville. Linda Gartman was in our class, and her father gave us a big storeroom that we turned into a sorority house, and we were able to hang out there. It was great and gather. It was really so fun. I can't say enough about my base at Lakeland, but I can tell you that I was able to go on from there, get my bachelor's as one of the first females, again chartered at John Carroll University, working with Vincent Klein and Jimmy Breslin at TV5 WEWS back in the day. Some of my John Carroll graduate friends are here. I immediately, I got my master's in 1974 to teach disabled children, but I had immediately started my family, and opening my own business would be a way to keep my children close, and they know I like it when my children are close. We started Capelli's Party Center in 1976. Subsequently, Billy's at Capelli Martini Bar was opened, and the rest is history here in Lake County. With the addition of my husband's mechanical company and his accumulation of rental properties, we have been blessed with the most wonderful life. Which brings us back to the beginning of the most blessed achievement, my family. I would be so proud for any of my grandchildren to take advantage of the wonderful programs at Lakeland Community College. Many of their most wonderful programs give people what I call the JOB degree. The JOB degree makes people marketable in the world job market today. They can get a job in the most convenient, affordable, atmosphere possible, Lakeland can be simply the base for a Common Core classes to step into a bachelor's degree. I can't say enough about how lucky Lake County is to have the resources and facilities that Lakeland has to offer. Thanks for listening. It's been my honor to have you come here this evening.
Good evening. My name is Neil Britton, and I have the honor, this word has been used all 6 times, to introduce Mr. John Paganini and induct him into the Lakeland Hall of Fame. I'm going to start at the beginning. They gave me this much stuff to talk about, but Bob hunted me down and said, Neil, you have 1 minute. And I think Jess, every time I step to the mic, she's going, oh no, which Neil are we going to get? So I'm going to pretty much stick to the script. John, he received his associate's at Lakeland in 81, his bachelor's from Lake Erie in 83, and he got his MBA from the University of Phoenix. He has over 35 years of experience in healthcare information systems. He's a founder of IoT or LOT. See, this is what all these initials with these computer guys. Additionally, he co-founded RIS Logic Inc., which is ultimately purchased and acquired by IBM Company. And my favorite, he's a CEO and co-founder of Dinkerbop, which is a special radio system that they developed for persons with dementia. And that's really, really a cool thing. John is currently the president of Pagwire Information Inc., a healthcare IT consulting firm focused on innovation and business development. He's a member of the board of directors both here at the Lakeland Foundation and at Lake Erie College. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning. There are no friends like the friends back in the day that we have. I think those of us who've got some gray hair, we understand that and we know that. And that's where John and I met. John and I were of the 13th class of Willoughby South High School. And when John came to South, he had a fro, big fro like this, and he had the coolest, prominent New York accent. It was awesome. I mean, this guy had a magic about him, and I didn't pick up any, hard things that were created by that transfer. He introduced me to the music of David Bowie, and a lot of our music interests are the same. But one thing, and the thing I want to stress most, is he's got this many credentials and things that people wrote about him and said about him, and the character it takes to get this kind of stuff, to get to this level, to be on these 2 prestigious boards and launch these successful firms. It's character, and it's a person inside that drives us to do this kind of stuff. And John is the real deal. He's a genuine, honest-to-goodness person. He is exactly what he seems to be. And what I've seen him, over the years when we run into each other, he's got this glisten in his eyes, and it kind of reflects back that reflection of how he's seeing me, and it just makes me feel really, really good. He's one of those guys that has that effect on people. John got into running. He got into marathon running, and he and I ended up at a run in Leroy, where I live, and he had a friend of a son of a friend, and I had my daughter, and he was so supporting. It made me think of John and the marathon. I mean, we've been in this thing, it was a marathon. My doctor is also Lake County coroner, and he said to me, Neil, there are 2 kind of people. There are lowland gorillas and there are gazelles. You'll never be a gazelle. You'll never be one of those old guys you see out there running. And he's right. When I found out that I had this privilege, I thought I'm getting a total knee replacement. I thought it was this day. I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to come on opioids. I mean, I was going to come total knee replacement, and I was going to come with all that pain medication in me. I was going to do it. I don't think my wife would have let me do that. But I have to say that John, this is a little bit corny and sappy, but I'm going with it anyway. John is a gazelle with poise, grace, and dignity. and he has supported me through the long haul. And we didn't take the same roads to get here. We took pretty different roads to get here, and John has always made me feel supportive in anything that I did. And it is my pleasure to induct you into the Lakeland Hall of Fame, John Paganini. Long may you run.
What a fantastic introduction. Wow. Thank you. And welcome, everybody. And I wanted to also be part of this humble induction ceremony of all of us on the stage. I'm really honored to be here. It's been an amazing night. We've heard so many good stories from everybody. And one of the things that keeps echoing back is the importance of family and friendship throughout this. And I have been very lucky in my life, starting from the very beginning up until this very day. I look at my lovely wife, Karen, and I think of her vision and motivation and her starting a company back in 1984 that turned to this great K&D group, which is now 400 people and directly contributing to downtown's renaissance. Very inspirational and motivating. And my son, Colin, who's only 17, but yet he's made the honor roll, and he just took 2 courses for driving, one in Connecticut, one in New Jersey, and now he's got his professional race car driving license at that age. I mean, it's awesome. So you can imagine the conversation at our dinner tables some nights, and I'll come home and say, honey, I just created the Cleveland Medical Hackathon. It's going to be run by Cleveland Clinic. And then my son will say, well, Motor Trend just called me and they asked me to fly to California and drive some of their cars around and write articles about it. And then my wife will say, well, we just bought the Terminal Tower today. So the bar is very high in my family. And so living up to that is sometimes quite challenging. And so I'm up for it. And then I think back to my family. My dad, I heard Queens to mentor, and we actually, our family came from Queens as well. So we came from New York in the 70s, and my dad had an opportunity here in Cleveland, and he packed up the whole family and his entrepreneurial spirit back then and said, we're moving to Cleveland. And Cleveland we came, and that turned into a long career in IT, like father, like sons, actually. And he was at Figge for his entire life, and has now been retired for 20 years and enjoying everything that life has given him. So thank you for that inspiration, Dad. My mom, as well, has, besides bringing up the 4 kids, also came out with a book called Viva Italia with pictures and stories about the recipes, and also started a wedding dress business. My sister is now doing a makerspace in a school in Eastlake. My other sister started in journalism and working for the late, great Jim Collins at the News Herald. And my brother Raymond has a successful business and also a Lakeland graduate and Leadership Lake County graduate here in Mentor. So the whole family really has been inspirational. And the point of this message is simply that when you're surrounded by greatness all the time, it really has such a positive influence on who you can be and want to be. And I think about that when having the first, right out of high school, my dad invested in me going to one of those computer schools downtown where the phone call changes your life. And so you go to that school, and 10 months later you come out with a certificate. And so other people have also taken a chance with me. So I got a job right after that with a company called White Motors, worked there for a couple of years, went to another company called Praxair, and went out to seek my fame and fortune in California. And then came back and did some work in Singapore for a while. And then after that, it was just startup after startup after startup. Some of them started up. Some of them are still started up. Some never started up. And so it feels like I'm always starting something. So let me just come back to Lakeland now and make this fast. When I came to the Lakeland Foundation, I was honored to be on this board and reconnect with Lakeland. I had really been out of the Lakeland scene for a while. I was aware it was here, but then I was invited to come back on the board and be part of the board. And in doing that, the first great thing was mentioned here today was the health technology building, and that levy passed. And it was an amazing thing, and now we walk through it, as was said by Morris earlier, and it is an amazing phenomenon. It happened, and that was quite an accomplishment. The scholarship breakfasts that we have, when we see the students and hear the story about how the foundation has changed and impacted the lives of people in such dramatic ways, that brings tears to your eyes. And so this year, it had been 3 years that I've been on the board, and I'm on a couple boards, as Neil had mentioned. And I was thinking, maybe with all the stuff that's going on in my life, I might want to take it easy a little bit, and because I might not be able to give the Lakeland board the time it really needed. So I don't know if it was intentional or not, but they asked me to stand at the base of the stage at the 2018 Lakeland commencement ceremony and shake the hand of all the people that were coming down the aisle just as they had received their diploma. So in doing that, I'm experiencing the excitement, the energy, the pride, the hope, the faith, the reward, all of these different emotions from hundreds of students coming down the aisle and shaking their hand. And immediately after that, I turned to Bob after that and I said, okay, I'm back on the board. So I can't thank Lakeland enough for bringing me back into their life and being the impactful organization that it has. I'm honored to be on this inductee list that is going down in history. So thank you all for coming tonight, and thank you for having me as an inductee.
All right. So to help us honor our inductees tonight, we also have State Senator John Eklund, State Representative Ron Young, and County Commissioner John Hamercheck. I ask that you join us on stage to share your remarks and present proclamations to our Hall of Fame class of 2018. Please come up. The way you guys are lined up?
First in line. Thank you very much, and thank you all for just allowing me to be with you today. This is such a very special night for you and for the college and for these outstanding individuals. And as I've kind of looked at what they've accomplished and the things that they will accomplish, tried to find kind of an underlying theme to this whole thing. And the best I could come up with is that each of them, and each of you, all right, if I may, in what you've done and what you continue to do, what you're going to do in the future, reflects such a level of, for other people, sympathy for the past, comfort for the present, and hope for the future. And the stories that you've told and that we've heard today are such a reflection of what I think are the wonderful things about certainly Northeast Ohio and perhaps Ohio, and God willing, the United States of America, that as a community, small, large, we take care of each other in one way or another. And that's what is so aptly reflected in all of your stories and what makes you true Hall of Famers. Certainly, when I hear stories from Mary, born in Queens, right? I was born in Queens. What town? Hollis. So was I. All right. My folks and my in-laws both graduated from Jamaica High School, and my twin brother and I were born in Hollis. I won't tell you the year. And John's connection to back on Long Island, right? I mean, so your efforts and your roots go far and wide, but so very tightly woven to here in Northeast Ohio, and I think it's a wonderful thing. the district-wide impact that you've had, and beyond the district and beyond the college. Now, great service to the college, right? And great ambassadors here in Northeast Ohio, but your reach goes far and wide. But I come back to the notion of sympathy for the past, comfort for the past, and hope for the future. We have proclamations, of course, that we'll present, and here they all are. I will not read them, thank God. And they do talk about the things that you've done, the things that you've accomplished, and the things that you will accomplish on into the future. But I've always come to believe that a legacy, and after all, the Hall of Fame is a legacy for any of us is made, not so much by what we do as by how we do it. And what we've heard today from these individuals and their sponsors is that everything that they've done has been done with a sense of abiding decency, unquestioned integrity, and a deep sense of responsibility, not just to Lakeland Community College, not just to their families, although that's, of course, incredibly important, but to the community in general and the people who they serve in their own way. And those are the things that these proclamations really proclaim. And these are the things that have secured your legacy and will make for your future legacy. And God bless you all, and thank you for everything that you've done now and in the future. Thank you.
Good evening. I'll use the word once again. It's an honor to be here tonight. I didn't realize I was coming to the Jamaica High reunion this evening, though. That's kind of amazing. 3 folks here from the Queens. And I didn't realize, too, that Lakeland apparently has a fantastic program in public speaking. You guys are amazing. I mean, the stories, the excellence of the way you presented it, the humor, it's great, really enjoyable. I wish that you had more inductees, Doctor. That'd be even better. But I just want to say that you folks are living legacies to this university. It's no small thing. You know, Lakeland's a community college. I've been to community colleges around the state, and there is something special about Lakeland. And I think what's going on here tonight, you are living legacies, testifying to the excellence of this university. Lakeland is special, and I think you've all realized that. And because of that realization, you share that with the community, and everything you do, you share that. Everywhere you go, in a sense, Lakeland is there. And I'm just so proud to be here tonight and be part of this celebration. And it's great. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to each of you. Your virtuous accomplishments, your regular deportment has helped you to earn this honor which you've received here tonight. But when I talk about how it contributed and how you have done so many things, take a look out in this audience. So many of these people have contributed to who you are and helped you to do the things that you've done and that you will continue to do. You've touched so many lives, and you will continue to touch so many lives. But I'd also have to mention that Lakeland is the crucible where the magic is truly in the mix, and you are part of that magic. The Lakeland family, as I like to call it, there's so many people that have contributed to all of the students here and all of the experiences. Many of those people you're never going to know because they do so many things unseen, behind the scenes. You have the others who are up close and personal, and you have your leadership that, thanks to their steady hand, is continuing to move Lakeland forward into the future, meeting the needs of our community. Lakeland's family is well represented by you. Lakeland's reputation is also well represented by each of you. And for that, I say God bless each of you and thank you for who you are. Thank you.
All right, thank you to our elected officials for being here and also for your remarks. So, in closing, on behalf of the Lakeland Foundation's Board of Directors, congratulations again to our 7 inductees. Our thanks also to the Lakeland Alumni and Friends Network, and especially to Dale Fellows, who chairs the network. We really appreciate the extraordinary work that this group continues to do. And thank you also to the Hall of Fame inductees from past years for joining us to welcome this year's awardees. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge the staff of the Lakeland Foundation who made all of tonight's activities happen. Jen Smizer, who coordinates the Alumni and Friends Network, Lori Principe, Tracy Morris, and Nancy Brooks. Thank you. A thank you again to all of you for being part of this special evening. There are more hors d'oeuvres and dessert out in the gallery, and I heard the bar is open till 9:00 p.m. So please stay to congratulate our inductees and to enjoy the rest of the evening. This concludes the 2018 Lakeland Alumni Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Thank you.